someone. I mean, we have got Jamie Hayes here. He's willing. Jamie would be willing to be a volunteer and demonstrate, you know, just be the kind of...
Where's Jamie? Do you want to do something?
Well, yeah. I have to be honest, I hadn't actually...
There's a spoon. That could be a knife. Okay, that's your knife.
That's the knife.
That's your knife.
I've got to spoon you.
Okay, what I'm going to get you to do...
Can I just take my keys out of my pocket? Hang on. I hadn't actually seen that.
Come around here, come around this side.
When I agreed to do this.
Okay, what I want you to go for a stab to the stomach. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is get out of the way, take him off balance. From here, you can put him down.
Had him right where I wanted him.
What else would you like to do? Try and grab. You go grab.
So I'm coming out of the pub.
Yeah.
Right, mate. Yeah, come on.
Lots of nice and mellow.
You think you're so tough. Look at you.
Take it nicely here. And then lots of love.
Thanks so much for asking me.
I didn't quite see what you did the second time. Could you just come back and do that again? No, sorry, Jim. You've recently been appointed Chief Scout to a worldwide organisation that has 28 million scouts. What are you going to do in that role?
That's just about encouraging kids to live an adventure and then helping them have the resources to do those adventures. And yeah, they're amazing, some of these scouts I meet. You know, people always say, oh, the youth of today, but kids don't lack dreams. What they lack is opportunities. And you go to some of these, you know, tough council estates around the country, and you know, I go there and meet these scouts groups, and they're just young guys, and they're full of hope and ambitions, and they've got all their badges, and you know, so it's just about empowering young people with the ability to have an adventure. But really, they're the inspiration to me. I mean, they're an amazing organisation, and you know, essentially it's just about having loads of fun, and that's the kind of job I'm good at. So yeah, they're a very cool organisation.
One of the interesting things about the survival programs is that people have actually taken those tips and used them, and it's actually saved lives, and sometimes very young lives.
Yeah, I mean, that's really encouraging. I quite often get stories from, there was a kid last week in America, 9-year-old in Colorado, I think it was, and he got lost and he was on his own and he fell through a frozen lake, and he got out, he stripped off, he rolled in the snow to absorb all the water off his body, put his jacket back on, got his wet t-shirt, started hiking to get warm and started tearing up his t-shirt to leave markers of where he was, and 9 hours later search and rescue found the markers, tracked him and got him out of there, you know. So, and he said, you know, he's a big kind of fan of the show, and you think that's great, you know, 'cause sometimes, you know, as Dunks will know, we sit in these jungles and these difficult places, and you know, the reality of filming is that you are cold, wet and scared a lot of the time, and you kind of think, is anyone ever going to watch this? Or and actually, you know, Dunks, you'll vouch for this, but you hear stories like that and it always comes back by the production team, and you know, it makes us all feel, well, that's nice, at least, you know, done something good somewhere. So yeah.
The book you're writing at the moment is about, for the Scouts, and a lot of material about survival generally, but you've also got some tips on kind of spiritual survival. Just talk about that for a bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure spiritual survival, it's a book on loads of different things, and one aspect is, you know, I go through all the nutrition and training and the motivation and leadership, and one of the things is the spiritual side, and I think, you know, it's part of being a complete human is that we, you know, we have this spiritual aspect, and it's kind of how we're made. But I think, you know, tips on surviving spiritually, the thing I've learned, I've made so much mistakes of over the years, and the reason it took me so long to find what faith was about, is that I think I confuse religion with faith. And, you know, none of us want to be religious. I've never grown up wanting to stand in a pulpit or wear a, you know, love your frock, Nicky, but, you know, but that wasn't kind of what I, you know, aspired to, but I have always wanted to be strengthened and to be held and to be forgiven and to have peace, and that really for me has been a sort of a long journey to realise that is actually what faith is about. So that would be the big thing, is don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Just because we all struggle with the religious side of it, that's actually not what faith is about. And it's about finding life and you know, being made complete again. And you know, certainly for me, it's where I found a lot of, you know, the meaning and purpose of stuff. So it's a bit rambling, really, but that was kind of.
And if you could ask God one question, what would it be?
You know, that's such a. It's hard, you know. I think it's kind of so. One's instinct is to ask all the big questions of why. You know, why do friends die up mountains? Why do people you love, you know, die? Or why is there suffering and all this? And we all have so many why questions, and I'm sure, you know, heaven will answer a lot of those. But you know, the truth is, my instinct is much more to say thank you. I think if I could spend time with God like that, my feeling is much more one of gratitude. You know. Thanks for the blessings with God, and thanks for forgiving us. And you know, gratitude is actually the emotion I feel probably more of now. You know, certainly early on in my sort of spiritual sort of journey of finding this faith, you know, it was much more why and what and how. But over the years, it's become much more sort of a quiet feeling of thank you.
You recently very kindly filmed an advert for the Alpha Course. Let's have a look at it.
That's a chopper! That's going to be my way out of here! When you get a chance to be saved, you've got to grab it. And then the rest of it is just about keeping your faith and your hope alive. Faith, like fire, isn't always easy.